That's how I treat my games that are not shovelware. Obviously excluding Captain Toad, Luigi's Mansion 3, Mario and Sonic Olympic Games, Mario Golf, Mario Kart. Now you might wonder, why are we discussing shovels? Shovelware is a term for individual video games or software bundles known more for the quantity of what is included than the quality or usefulness. Shovelware. 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 Got it! I think it's much more than that. It's a game that has a whole experience, a story mode, graphics that are half questionable. No, but seriously, shovelware is kind of a thing that when you own it and people see you own it, you almost feel embarrassed. You have to sit down and be like, yeah, I own Six Flags Fun Park that I bought for $5 at GameStop and it has a ticket inside. I'm normal. You might have had your parents one day bring home a game or gift you one for your birthday or Christmas or a holiday that you really enjoyed as a child, and you look back at and you're like, why did I enjoy this? I feel that they're looked down upon, so let's take a deep dive into shovelware. Now, as we brought up slightly, shovelware games are low-budget, poor-quality video games released in the hopes of being purchased by unsuspecting customers, at least according to Wikipedia. Shovelware can be great, it can be fun, not bad. And so while all consoles have shovelware, one that had a lot was the Wii. Examples of shovelware could be Club Penguin Game Day, Six Flags Fun Park, as we said, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And a lot of the time, shovelware draws you in by the cover art. Like, hey, I know those M&Ms, or hey, I watched this game show, or hey, we watched Family Feud last night. Any of these things, they kind of draw you in, and that's how you get scammed. Well, not always. But we're not just talking about shovelware. I'm very, very passionate about shovelware, as weird as that sounds. Now, a common theme that I tend to find with shovelware games is they're all a bit geared towards children. They're low quality, and did you care about quality as a child? Probably not. I personally didn't, which is probably why I bought Build-A-Bear Friend for All Seasons. With a game like this, you jump in and you can tell it's nothing like Mario Galaxy, nothing like Legend of Zelda. It's not amazing. These games tend to feel rushed because there's not a whole lot of money behind them to help support the game development, so they just kind of make the game and hope a miracle happens. My purchase and the 7 other people was the miracle. Now, as a result of that, these games tend to get very low ratings on Metacritic. Ooh. You might also find that a lot of shovelware games are based on TV shows, game shows, movies, things like this, and that just makes it even worse. Let's ask you this: how many video games based on movies are actually good? Not many. Some, but not very many. That's a shovelware problem. You take me to a retro game shop, I come out with 3 shovelware games. A big reason for it is mainly because during the Wii era and the DS era, I was still in my youth years. So one, I was very, very young. I didn't buy many games and I didn't really pay attention to much. I didn't browse GameStops too often, and so I just didn't really get a good taste of what the Wii era was like or what the DS era was like, these old eras, and so now I get to do that. Not to mention, shovelware games tend to be dirt cheap. So if you want to get into it and join us, now is the time. But now that I've turned you into a shovelware connoisseur, let's talk about what makes these games so great. One thing I love about shovelware is it's kind of a step back from the hardcore and the mainstream games. For me, everyone was talking about this great new Mario game or this great new Metroid game or Pokemon game. I wanted to play something light and easy, but that I resonated with. For example, Deal or No Deal. As shovelware as that game is, that's a game show that I used to watch a lot, and so playing that game was really enjoyable. Is it a terribly made game? I can admit that, yeah, but I think for me, it's more so what the game is, what it represents, and just the vibe that you get off of it, no matter how well made or how poorly made it is. Build-A-Bear was my favorite store growing up, so finding out that there was a Build-A-Bear Wii game piqued my interest incredibly. I love these games for the idea, the feeling that they give you, the intention behind it, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with mainstream games, but it's kind of cool to take a step back once in a while and play something different. With one of, admittedly, my favorite games of all time, We Wish You a Merry Christmas. By the way, they should have spelled we as in we. Now, the reason I love this game so much is because it really brings people together. It's a full-on 4-player Christmas game, and this has several times brought me and my family together, and I feel that's just what it's all about. It helps you celebrate, get together, and have a jolly old time. And sure, a game like Mario Party can do the same trick, but this does it for me. There's an advent calendar, tons of mini games, I Spy, write a letter to Santa. I mean, what can't you do in We Wish You a Merry Christmas? Now, I'm not that crazy for shovelware. I can admit when games are bad. One of the worst games I've ever played in my life. Another way that I actually got into shovelware was the games being so cheap. For example, you could buy $5 shovelware games for 25 bucks, which might be the price of a game like Super Mario Galaxy, and it's just a look at quantity over quality. Which one do you want? I like a fair share of both. I like my Mario games, but I also like a bunch of different games and a bunch of different experiences and a bunch more playing time. It could go either way, but that's totally perfect if you're a parent out there and wants to spoil their kid for Christmas, but just can't do it with $60 games. Buy 20,000 shovelware games, the kid will be very happy. It's a win-win. You're saving money and you can get tons of games. Quantity over quality. That doesn't apply to everything. But we talk a lot about old shovelware games and how they're dirt cheap, but what do current modern shovelware games look like nowadays? Well, I can tell you there's a lot less of them because making shovelware has become a lot more expensive and you have to make the games good enough for a console like the Switch, and a lot of people don't want to do that because they're just trying to get in to make a quick buck and then out as soon as possible and just spend as little money to make the most money, which is what shovelware developers are doing. But a fine example would be Advent Calendar for the Nintendo Switch. We love Advent Calendar, a game that you can't even get past the title screen with. I'm only half joking, you have to restart the game and then you're in, but that's kind of weird and you can tell that there's no effort put into it. It's a pretty low quality Christmas game with a bunch of copy and paste mini games put into it. Things like pixel art, puzzles, 2048, a bunch of things like this they throw in there to make the game look all nice, but it didn't take them much effort or time, not even money. So you have some developers, you put all that together, you put it out there for $30, and you have people like me who buy the game. Not to mention, it is a Christmas game, a time of year that people are looking forward to, and one that people want to celebrate. So honestly, this is a pretty good shovelware game idea. It's just not very great. Even a game like Solitaire Deluxe Bundle 3-in-1. This game didn't take long to make, but money's coming through. Shovelware. But guess what? I bought it. If you have a good idea, this can sometimes work. And guess what? It was cheap. Quantity over quality. You mainly see a lot of shovelware digitally on the eShop or the Wii Shop channel or any of these digital stores because it's a lot cheaper to make it digital than to make physical games. Now, a lot of the WiiWare games are bottom of the barrel, so kind of thank gosh the Wii Shop channel shut down. These companies are not making money off their low quality, low effort games anymore. I hope no one bought too many of them. Oh, but don't you worry, the eShop has tons of clutter as well, even Clumsy Rush Ultimate Guys. What? A Fall Guys knockoff. A knockoff of a free game and your knockoff costs money. Do you see what kind of low we've hit here? But should you try shovelware? I think you should. Go to your local retro game store now, pick up a few Wii games or DS games, shovelware games anyway. And the reason why you would see these games in retro game shops is because people bought them thinking they were cool, and they end up being resold and resold and resold. Sadly. Not to mention, they aren't really selling anymore, so finding shovelware in your local store or online shouldn't be too hard. There's just no demand for it when you have high quality games coming out. It shouldn't cost you too much. I say give the games a try. Pick ones that you're actually somewhat interested in, and I feel like you might just come around to them. Honestly, these games make me quite happy when I play them, because a game like Advent Calendar celebrating the holiday season, a game like We Wish You a Merry Christmas, a game like Deal or No Deal, as I mentioned earlier, these are games that I resonate with, and when you can resonate with the game, it makes it that much better. I'd recommend watching videos and gameplay on the game that you're interested in before you go and buy it, and you should do that with most games, but especially shovelware because you do not want to get scammed. There's games that are nowhere near worth it, and they're not exactly what they are described as, so make sure you're not being ripped off. The dark side is out there. And the thing is, you have good bad games and bad games. You have a good bad game, Family Feud, and a bad game, Eminem's Kart Racing. I don't even want to get into that one. With a game like Cook or Be Cooked, you can tell they tried. They made a bunch of different recipes, they had voice actors, they put fun into it, they tried, and while they knew it was not high quality, they put thought into it. Now with Clumsy Guys Ultimate Rush, Clumsy Rush Ultimate Guys, it's a copy and paste. They didn't really try much. It used to be low effort, now it's no effort. Now, who was buying these games back when they were more popular? Well, it was mainly parents trying to get you right there a birthday gift, or a Christmas gift, or just a gift in general, and they didn't really know what was better to buy than some kiddie games like Dora and the Purple Planet, or something like this. One funny thing though about shovelware is you tend to see a lot of spelling errors, which is of course funny, but it just feels like you're being scammed. Who proofread this? How has this not been fixed? Where's your quality control? Who made the games? I mean, it kind of shows that you're being scammed here. And so shovelware games are not very popular, but if you can find a few hidden gems, you got in, because once again, they are dirt cheap. These games aren't always tested either. It's pretty much the equivalent if I were to make a very poor quality YouTube video with a very bold title and a very professional thumbnail. You think it's great until you hop into it, but shovelware is not everybody's thing, so if you prefer high quality games, totally fine, but I wanted to shed some more light on shovelware and show that it's not all bad. I've ended up buying more shovelware than normal games nowadays. Like, I just bought Metroid Prime Remastered, but before that, I went to a game shop and walked out with like 3 different Wii shovelware games to try in my free time. Like, I can't say that I regret the purchase, but I'm really drawn away from newer games than shovelware. Yeah, I'm gonna buy Tears of the Kingdom, yeah, I'm gonna buy the big games, and I do like the mainstream stuff, but you gotta step away and just be like, I like other things too, you know? As much as I like shovelware, hopefully we can minimize it over time, because I feel like the shovelware games nowadays are a lot worse than shovelware games back in 2010. Now, one store that sells shovelware is called DK Oldies. They sent me a red Wii, and it was not refurbished as they say. It was all dirty. If you want to go watch that, link is here. Thank you to our channel members for supporting the channel. If you want to become a channel member, link is in the description. You get awesome perks, behind the scenes videos, things like that. I'll see you all next time. I love you all. Adios.